Welcome, everybody. Welcome. Thank you for joining Authors Up. If you didn't know where you were, that's where you are. You have tuned in to Authors Up right here on ALH Broadcasting, and we are certainly glad that you are with us tonight. We have a very special author that we're going to be talking to, and he has written an incredible book that we are going to be talking about, and we just can't wait to pull you into the conversation because it's going to be a very, very special night for us. But right now, I want you to meet our co-host, or my co-host, I should say. They're here. They are here every Sunday. I cannot get rid of them.
Mostly every Sunday.
Well,
yeah, for some.
For some of us who are,
one of them is like kind of all over.
We're a traveler.
But because we love her as much as we do, we let her come back whenever she's in town. And
Not completely distracted by some little 6-month-old little munchkin.
And that would be our world traveler.
Exactly. London and things on Cecil Street.
How you doing, Ruth? Glad that you're here tonight.
Doing good. Glad to be back.
Yeah, sure. You are.
Look.
Baby.
With a little bib over us. Okay. All right. I'm supposed to be saying hello. Thank you, folks, for joining us. We're happy to have you.
And we're going to see Little Mercy probably during our weekend review in just a second.
Probably,
but Victoria, how are you doing? How are you doing and what's going on?
I'm okay. I'm all right. Not feeling my best, but I'm telling y'all, 5 minutes after logging on with you guys, I feel so much better. I'm telling you, just something about Sunday nights at 7 p.m. just does it for me.
Well, we're going to let you go ahead and get started with a weekend review. I know a lot's been going on.
There's been a lot going on.
Decision making and choices and all that kind of stuff, but that's life. But kind of share with us what went on with you last week.
Well, that is life. I've had to, you talked this week on your show about the pivot and the pause, and I've had to do a couple of those things, couple of times this week. But my mom is not feeling well. She fell almost 2 weeks ago. She fell and fractured about 3 of her ribs. So that's been really difficult to navigate for me, to watch her, just be in pain. And like today, my sister and I called her to just do a video chat. She's like, I don't feel like talking, y'all. And it's just breaks my heart, But here's the mother in her. This is what she did. She said, well, before we hang up, I do got to do one thing. And we said, what, baby? Because you could tell she's, really not. She took the phone and brought it way to her face, and you can see up her nose, and she's kissing the kissing the glass. I was like, we love you too, Mom. So, I'm making plans to go spend about 2 weeks towards the latter end of this month with her. So, and that was this week, just navigating that and work and my own health and it's life. But part of life is Authors Up in these great books. So I'm excited. I'm just excited to be here. And that was my week in review.
We're glad that you are here. We are. And Miss Ruth, what did you have going on last week since your feet were back on the ground and you weren't soaring overhead going somewhere?
Well, I made a trip up to Maryland to see my granddaughter. I mean, my daughter, my son-in-law too, but mostly to see my granddaughter. So my son-in-law is in a medical program, a nursing program. So his they're cramming like I think 4 years into 18 months. And
Wow.
his he's going to be graduating in March, so they're ramping up. So they were like, "Can you come help?" I'm like, "Of course, you don't have to ask twice." And of course, when I showed up, it's been like a few weeks since I've been there. So my granddaughter just looked at me, and I was sitting in the back seat with her in the car, and she just stared at me like, "Who are you? Why are you in my mother's car?" And then that thing that babies do, her lips started going. And she started crying. I'm like, oh, she forgot. So, and I've shared this with you guys, but it was funny because she tolerated me that night. She let me hold her. She was like, okay, cool. You're cool. Fine. Went to sleep. When she got up, her mom was going to take her to daycare because they had picture day, and she was up. She was chatty. She's definitely a morning person.
Oh.
The moment she saw me and I said hi, her face, you could see it. Her face went, "Oh, you're still here." Babies will humble you. They really will. So we spent the week together. So she liked me when I left. So
Oh, good. That's funny.
Oh yeah.
Out of sight, out of mind, right?
Oh yeah. So yeah, I'll be going back up in a couple weeks.
Awesome.
Yeah, so I'm looking forward to that. And of course I am. So I'll have more pictures and more videos to share.
One of these weeks
we don't want you to forget.
Andrea, one of these weeks we're gonna have to get on the train and go with her. We don't have to stay with Samantha, but we just gonna take the train up and be there so we can see the baby too.
Oh, you have to. I mean, she's still tiny, but I mean now she's attempting to crawl. She's at that stage where she can get up on her hands and knees, but she hadn't figured out how to coordinate them.
Right.
So she will just like launch herself forward, face first into the ground, but then she'll get up and do that again. So she'll leapfrog across the floor to get whatever she wants, or she'll like scoot around. So yeah, before you know it, she'll be like full blown crawling
and walking and running.
Yeah.
All right. We got to plan a trip to do that. I would love to go.
So,
Indeed.
Yep. Andrea,
I didn't have anything exciting going on. I still got a lot of medical stuff going on, and we definitely are not going to get into that tonight. Medical stuff, house stuff. Those are the two topics that I will have on my agenda from now until like forever. But I went out, I felt really good one day, and I thought, oh, I was going to go out shopping, and I went to this store, and it's probably anybody and everybody in this area knows about Once Upon a Child. And it's a store that takes gently used and new baby clothes. Well, I'd say from probably 5T down to newborn. And I had a ball. The only problem is I was in there walking around thinking to myself, I got to find a baby. I got to find somebody's baby because this is too good. These are too good. And I thought, Mercy.
That's it.
Mercy.
Right.
And I called
Eminem
immediately and said, what size does she wear? And I got home and I called a couple of other people. So I intend either next week or the week after to go back to Once Upon a Child and just have at it. And I was looking and I was going around the store, and I think the customers were like, what is wrong with that woman? As I was pulling things out, just going, oh That's right.
You had a good time, and that's what all that matters.
An absolute blast. I enjoyed
Oh,
every minute of it, and it took all the weight of all the other life stuff that was
yeah.
going on and just turned it into a pure joy. So those
Mhm.
are kind of my highlights for the week. But we got a
That was
highlight
good.
for tonight, and
Yes.
Victoria is going to tell us about the bio of our author.
I don't know why I get on here and leave my glasses like way across the room, but here we go. Okay. Tonight we have Peter Gribble. Peter Gribble is a writer and a lifelong student of history whose work explores the intersections of knowledge, power, and the human condition. His fantasy series, The City of Magicians, which is the book we're going to talk about tonight, is set in a civilization that rejects traditional warfare. Influenced by his childhood in post war France, where silence about the war was as pervasive as its lingering shadows, Gribble crafts stories that explore the dangers of complacency and the consequences of pacifism and brutality colliding. He studied art at Sheridan College School of Design, experimental psychology at the University of Toronto, and education at the Ontario Institute for Studies in Education. He has written for Nouveau and various British Columbian publications, including gardening columns for two journals over a decade. His time working in bookstores reinforced his belief in the power of books to inspire, challenge, and transform. And after this short break, he'll be right here with us to talk about his book, The City of Magicians. Be right back.
Hi,
Well,
Peter.
Hello, how are you?
We are
Nice.
Welcome.
good. Yes, we are so happy to have you here on the show tonight.
Well, thank you for having me.
All right. All right. Well, we are gonna get started. Now that we've said our pleasantries. Um, Tell us about your book.
Well, it came from oh, I've written books before, but this one, when I started it, it grabbed me by the throat and threw me to the ground and said, "You're publishing me." Um, and so I had no choice but to agree and supplicate myself to the process.
Okay. All right.
Yeah.
Well, um, what is your story about? Now, obviously, with Title Magicians, we're delving into fantasy, but I think what caught my attention when I heard from your Miss Shirley was just how it was inspired by your upbringing or post-war France. It was
Right.
inspired. It dealt with the themes of complacency, remembering history's lessons, all of that. Tell us about the book itself.
Okay. Um, Too many fantasy books have violence and battles and wars in them. And I thought there are two reasons actually. And the thing about fantasy books, there's always a journey to a goal. And I thought why don't you write it from the other point of view where this the city of the magicians is the goal. So people are coming to you.
Hmm.
And so I thought, okay, and that's why I had to draw a map to make sure that I could find my way around this place. But the second part was to explore something that is seldom touched on in fantasy, um, the waste of war and the violence and
Hmm.
and there must be better ways of solving your differences and that sort of thing. And as you said, my experience in post-war France, it was the first day of school, I went to my brother and I attended an international school for NATO kids and diplomatic corps kids. Um, so we'd have nothing but French subjects in the morning, and then we'd all divide German, Dutch, Belgian, Canadian. We'd divide into separate portables, and we'd learn our own subjects. But
Mm.
um, but the thing I was told the very first day by my mom before I went to school, there was a war, Germany lost. You do not talk about it. So, oh, okay. And but the interesting thing is, in the schoolyard, the German kids did well in class, better than most of us, but they were fairly self-isolating.
Mhm.
And the curious thing is that I don't think I've ever seen a collective group of more depressed and embarrassed kids. It was very interesting. They did not fraternize, um,
Wow.
and,
Wow.
and because we weren't allowed to discuss it, we just okay, and that was it. But the revelation came the following summer. We traveled to the Normandy landing sites, and there's a large war memorial system in that part of France. And so the only thing my mother prepared me for this was Hitler was a bad man, and
Mm.
I never heard the name before. And okay, if you say so. And so we saw the bombed out craters and this, that, the other barbed wires and the German bunkers and this, that, the other. We climbed down the cliffs to the D-Day landing sites and all that sort of stuff. And then the thing that got me was the cemetery.
Wow.
Thousands of little white crosses, all identical,
Wow.
going to the horizons. And I was just, oh my goodness. Um, and my mom is trying to exercise my feeble little math skills, saying, and how old was this one when he died? Um, and the numbers always ended in 1941, 42, 43, 44, whatever. Um, and they were like 17, 18, 19, 20 years old. They were young.
Wow.
Um, and then my mom said, and how old was this one? And I said, the numbers are wrong. He said, Mummy, the numbers are wrong. That it was 1919, so 1918, and his birth year was in the 1890s. And
Mm.
my mother said, that's because he died in the First World War. I said, there were two wars in the same place? Uh,
Mm.
I was flabbergasted into silence. And then we got in the car and we drove off to the Vimy Ridge, which is very important to Canada. It was a horrible, horrible battle where several thousand, I think it was some 30,000 Canadians died in the space of several days.
Oh
Um,
wow.
but at that point, when we parked, I refused to get out of the car. Something in me had had enough. I was the age of 9, but something in me said, nope, I'm not getting out of the car. My parents left me in the car thinking I was undergoing some childish sulk. But I had this amazing sense of, I'm right. This is deeply wrong. I was never the same again. But it
Wow.
Wow.
wasn't that it was overwhelming, but it just sat there. And so pacifism was an interesting thing. I have a provisional sympathy for it, but I think there are some things that have to be called into question. Like pacifism prevented England from getting into preparing for the Second World War. Um, and
Wow.
it worked in India up to a point, but in the end, Mahatma Gandhi, the founder of the nonviolent resistance, he was assassinated. So it's curious how he represented nonviolence, and yet he ended up with violent men.
Right.
So,
Right.
so, so that's the premise of book one. What does a pacifist, egalitarian, nonviolent city-state do to prepare for a barbarian invasion coming in 6 months? They've got a plan. It should work. But the young man who's been fingered to, you're going to educate the barbarian, says, really? No, you made a mistake. That's only half the problem. There's an underground movement plotting to collaborate with the same barbarian. And
Wow.
what do they do? So
Mhm.
that's chapter one.
And we're sitting on the edge of our seats, like,
Oh, good.
And what
Okay.
happened next? Like we didn't read it. What happened
Yeah.
next?
Yeah. Well, then chapter two, you have the second protagonist is a woman who is a young woman who's a librarian who is looking for her love vanished um, lover's manuscript that has also disappeared. And she
Mhm.
gets ensnared in this underground movement, and
Mhm.
she has no choice. So she buries her integrity, but struggles to keep it alive just within the narrow confines of her conscientiousness. And yeah, she has an interesting time. Um, I think on the back of I have uh, Lanya, a city librarian, searching for her dead lover's vanished manuscript, is ensnared by a secret society planning to collaborate with the same barbarian. Attempts to extricate herself from the blackmail, double dealing, seduction, and betrayal force her to realize her final treachery could very well destroy her.
Wow,
Um,
yeah.
Yeah.
Wow, yeah.
yeah.
Lalia,
Right.
yep.
Yeah.
Love
Yeah.
it.
So, I have to say, and honestly, hearing from you, hearing your backstory, hearing how you describe your book, um, I think it makes it that much more um, interesting. You want to delve more into it. And even with the subject matter, one of our most recent guests also wrote a book on revolution.
Hmm.
So,
Right.
and it's interesting because I thought about it afterward, but the flag right above my left shoulder, uh, the black and white one,
Oh
that is
yeah.
that is the Puerto Rican resistance flag.
Oh wow.
Wow.
Okay.
Yeah, I had
Wow.
completely forgotten about it until afterward, and I was like, "No,
Ah.
I got to mention that," um, because I feel like I don't think that it is accidental that all these books are being published now.
Hmm.
That
Oh
these are
yeah.
the words being thrown out there: revolution, resistance, um,
Yes.
all of this. This is not accidental. So,
Yeah.
let me ask you what was the timing for this? I mean, obviously, this is not something you cobbled together earlier this year and decided, no, you know what?
No.
Let me
No.
just go ahead and publish it now. So,
Yep.
what
It,
inspired you to write it and to publish it now?
um, I actually started writing it September of 1998.
Oh,
So it's
wow.
taking, yeah. So it took me, I
Went
mean,
to
there's
seven
book one.
years.
Yeah. Well, and book two and book three finally got published 2 years ago. 2 years ago. Today's
Wow.
25. So no, it came out in 2024. So book one was 2020. So basically, it took me 20 years to get the thing called, and then it took an additional 5 years to get it edited. And my poor publisher said it was actually one book, and
Oh,
and my publisher said, "Oh my goodness, this is far too big. Can you not cut it down or divide it somehow?" And then I looked at it, and thought, "Oh my goodness!" And it went through what I like to call a literary mitosis. It went
Mhm.
through a cellular division. I just say, oh, "There's book one, book two, book three. Wow!" So something that was helping me to say, "I know where you're going. We won't tell you until you get to this point." But it's very interesting that right some writing will sneak up on you and just say, "Oh, surprise! Oh my goodness, this is far better than I had in mind." So
Yes.
yeah, so yeah,
I have to just throw this in. I had told you before we came on the air that I just want to spend 5 minutes in your head because
okay,
I
okay.
want to know how did you create these characters in this world?
Mhm.
What? And it's just mind boggling to me. It really is.
Okay, they become friends. It's interesting how um, Lalia, my second protagonist, and you're introduced to her in chapter two. She took a
Mhm.
very long to gestate. I didn't know whether she was going to be male or female. I knew
Okay.
she had various things to do, and then when it finally became okay, oh, she's a young woman. Okay, good. And then, but her name took forever. It took months
Really?
before her name, and I had several place name, and no, this doesn't work. This isn't her. This went on for months, and when finally her name came, so many things went click, 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 click. Click. Isn't
Wow.
that amazing? It's just wow. It was a wow moment, and it's just yeah, and Sass. I don't know where. I do know where the name came from. I just thought that's weird. It fits. I love languages, and I have dictionaries of many languages. Um, I just have to open it somewhere, and oh, SAS. It's the Greek second person plural possessive. And I just said, oh, okay. it works. So
Wow. Well,
yeah,
how many
so
languages do you speak?
I have small talk in about 16 languages.
Ah,
Wow.
Yeah, it's small talk. It's very flashy. People assume I'm fluent, and I'm not. But
I bet you it's more than hello and goodbye.
oh yes, yes. One of the best sentences to learn in any language is "I don't speak your language very well."
Mhm.
So
Right,
so
right.
so in Cantonese is "Gode konniwa," "Imhaigeho." In Farsi, um, um, uh, "Man Farsi hu balap nistab yek kami."
Ah, yeah,
In
yeah.
Arabic, is "Ana batkalim Arabi shوية."
Okay,
Shwaya
okay,
shwaya.
okay.
Yep. German, my Deutsch is nicht so gut. Ich muss das über. Right. Anyway, and on and on. So,
But you
Yeah.
didn't make a language for this book,
oh
did you?
yeah, yeah. But and also a writing system because I decided not they didn't have an alphabet that they are still working on their plural
Yes.
pictorial character past, but they realized this is very slow, so they've truncated it, and they now call it instead of the glyphs, they call it quick glyph. So they're getting closer and closer to an alphabet.
All
Nice.
right.
Yeah,
Nice.
yeah.
I'm sorry, Ruth. Sorry, Ruth.
You're fine. All right. So now that we're on that subject, let's talk about the world building. And this is we had to cover our conversation short right before we got on because and I mentioned finding out Tolkien took over a decade to write
Hmm.
Lord of the Rings because he spent most
Yep,
of that time world building.
yep.
I've purchased a couple books just to learn how to do that because this is not
Right,
something that you can throw together a month
right,
before you start writing.
right.
You have to
Yeah,
build it out, and there are some
yep.
things in this books that you didn't think about, but yes, you have to think about if you're going to create this world. So it's not just about let me create the characters. What about the world?
Well, I'm glad you had the Book of Magic, the one that you have there.
Yes.
Um, the system of magic is based on very real things from various cultures. One of them is Polynesian, and in order to get things to happen like magic, um, they have something called intents and purposes, like the intent, um, and of course they have a whole canon of literature because this culture has been going downhill. Hardly anyone practices it anymore, but they're going to get a shock that, oh, maybe wait a second. What does it say in this, that, the other? So I studied Turkish, Nigerian, Polynesian, and a few other magical traditions. And there's an Egyptian, ancient Egyptian. They talk about, I think they have 5 different types of bodies. I reduce it to 3. The Hawaiian system is called kahuna. Kahuna
Mm,
means the hidden. And they use various terms, but decided to create my own. And that if your body, heart, and mind are brought together, then things will happen. And they talk about instead of spells and incantations, they talk about may your desires manifest as desired or as your intent.
mhm.
So they do have So are you having fun creating your own
Yes,
magical system?
I
You
am
got to
actually.
and
Yeah.
you got to
So
practice it. Oh, this does work. Oh, hey, great! I'll put this in the book. Great, yeah,
no,
yeah.
and see that's the other part too, because you're, obviously, your inspirations may have come since you started in 98 before the, explosion of the internet. Your inspirations may have come from a movie, that may have come from something that you've read. Now it's from social media. Now it's from, something you come across. So, and it's just, what I'm discovering is that all of these little ideas, that all of every tidbit of information that you come across, you go, oh,
Mhm.
wait a minute, I can use that for my book. And then you start writing down
Absolutely.
all of
Yep.
these. And now I have only, I'm on my fourth notebook, but you
Mhm.
have a few more.
Yep. Right. Right. Um, I carry this around with me. It slips into a back pocket really well, and I
Yes.
carry it whenever I go out. But I also, and this one is very specifically too. I had other ones for other things, but this one is number 35 for
Wow.
City of the Magicians.
Yeah.
I don't know whether the camera can pick that up, but this is a shorthand that I developed in school just to be able to take verbatim notes.
Wow.
Okay. I think
Yeah.
you need to take it back when you said to me earlier that there was nothing in your head. You, you got to
Oh
take
no, no. There's a lot of space there, and it's the
no, but
okay.
there's a lot of stuff that's taking up that space. You got to take that back.
Yep. Okay. Okay. I probably need to purge or do some house cleaning or something. Right. Yeah.
Oh my
Well,
goodness.
so most of my stuff comes from reading books, and preferably
Mhm.
things that are. I try to keep the technology down to a late medieval, early Renaissance,
Yeah.
um, and so I actually the words that I use in the City of Magicians series. Um, I'll look them up in the Oxford English Dictionary to see if they're any later than 1700. If they're later
Mhm.
than that, I will not include them,
Yeah.
Okay.
um, just to keep the vocabulary. I don't want to make a slip. And just
Mhm.
say, I
Right.
think at some point, and I may be wrong, Tolkien at one point has Bilbo running up to catch up with the dwarves, and he's puffing like a steam engine. And I thought, steam engine? Are you kidding? In Middle Earth? Where did the steam engines come from?
Right.
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 Yeah, right. So I'm very careful to make sure that, um, oh yeah, Sas texted Lalia that he would be home later that day, but no. Um,
Yep. Yep.
so
Nothing
yeah,
will take you out of that story quicker than a modern reference.
yep.
So
Oh
Right.
yeah,
Right.
yep.
yeah.
And and when you find these, when you're reading, you just say, oh my goodness, where
Mhm.
is the editor? Who did the
Mhm.
proofreading? Uh,
Mhm.
yeah.
Wow.
Mhm. Yep. All right, Andrea, what you got?
Well, I'm just sitting here enjoying myself because
Me too.
Uh,
from beginning to end, this is just so fascinating.
well, thank you.
Just thinking about your life and what inspired your book and the
Mhm.
way that this has all come together. I was thinking about the notes that I had put down because I said that these are some of the things that are included in this book. And I want everybody to hear this because if you're a fan of fantasy at all, even a little bit. And if you're not a fan yet, here is a book that has got magic, it's got mystery, uh, intrigue. You got telepaths, you got
Yeah.
cult references, you've got government references, you've got hidden societies in there, secret organizations. I mean,
Yeah.
and just that there is so much happening
Yeah.
in this world that you have created. But I wanted to ask you what is the overarching theme? What is the message that you want your readers to get while they're reading or after they have finished the book? What
Yeah.
is it that sticks out with you as the author to be able to say when people pick this book up, this is what I want them to feel.
Right. I think it has to do with how do you keep your integrity going when all around you is saying, "Oh no, do it this way," or "This has to happen first." And both Stas and Lalia, they're facing real challenges. Um, one of them is more overt, and then one of them finds out. Both of them, Lilia knows that she's being manipulated, and she's trying to resist it. And Sass discovers that he has been manipulated. He's been cruelly manipulated into a position that has basically quietly wrecked his life. And yet, as a citizen, he feels I'm in this position of responsibility now, and I can only go forward. But um, I'm going to make provisions just to say, you don't do this again.
Yeah.
And poor Lalia is struggling to say, where's my narrow escape route? And is it there? Isn't there? Boom, that just shut itself down. So, and she's trying to fit in, but realizing that every time she tries to fit in, it's a deepening of the trap she's already in. So the thing is, for a reader, just make sure you know what's true inside yourself, what you feel is inherently right, and be faithful to it, and be reverent that it may also need a little bit of adjusting.
Hmm.
Yeah.
That's wonderful. That's
Yeah.
beautiful. That's beautiful.
Thank you.
I want to
Thank
ask you to do something too that we have started doing with our authors, and
Okay.
we would like to. I when I watch you, not just listen to you, but when I watch you talk about your book, the animation and the passion with which you do that, just brings the story to life in a different way than than happens when we are just reading it. So we're honored to have you be able to bring some of that to your book tonight. And right before
Okay.
we came on the air, we asked if you would just pull out a small excerpt and just read to us, Peter. Uh,
Okay.
Portion of the book that you would like for us to hear in your voice. Uh,
Okay. Thank
Go
you.
ahead.
So this is book one.
Uh-huh.
Um, it actually won a gold medal for the best literary fantasy at the Book Fest last year.
Oh,
Oh,
nice.
So yeah,
congratulations.
thank
Amazing.
you. Book two also won the same prize this year. So we'll see what happens. Maybe book three might win the third one. It'll be a grand slam.
That would be great.
So this is chapter one, book one, a pale blue five. The obsolete form was painted on a crier pillar. Looks like a bony hand, don't it? The man remarked. Do you know its meaning, lettered, sir? It's number five, glyphed, the old way, said Sass. Not used in generations. A young girl volunteered. Seen it in other places, too. Other places? The upper ridge so far, on the house walls. No paper. Barbarian seethed someone. Indeed. The girl asked, Lettered, sir, what does it signify? Afraid I don't know, but thank you for showing me. Unusual, isn't it? I'll let others know. Sorry, you'll have to excuse me. I'm going to be late for the temple service. You're late now, smirked the girl. Sass grinned. You're right. Be well. With a nod, he resumed his walk. He was followed by a second five, splashed on the east wall of Nethua House, then further on by another, more rushed than the last. In the distance, another blue five, large and illegible, lured him toward the temple. He shivered.
Ooh, ooh,
Hmm.
ooh. I love it. I
Thank you.
love it. Absolutely
Thank
love
you.
it. I want to ask you one other thing. We know that as you're writing, a lot of times you may start in one direction, but as the story progresses, there may be some things that change. There may be some things that are adjusted a little bit. But I wanted to ask you if there was a character that kind of started in one direction for you, but may have changed as the story itself evolved, or did most of them kind of stay true to plan?
Um, Most of them stayed true to plan, but some of them deepened as I was writing specifically about their reactions and whatnot, and their traumas and their survival instincts. Um, I think that one of the fun surprises, and it's in book one, um, was Sass has heard some bad news and he's going to come home and go upstairs and mope. And that's very tiresome reading. Reading, oh my God, get off the pot. So he comes and I had a character that was going to be there. Um, and so Sass enters the house, and without my anticipating it, the words come out and said, Sass, come upstairs. And it's his aunt who runs the house. She's lady of the house. Um, and I said, oh my goodness, where did this come from? And she took that chapter and she gave it wind. She lifted it
Wow.
up. And so adding onto Sass's sort of, oh my goodness, what is this all going to be about? It's one more thing. So it just deepens his malaise and his depression and his powerlessness because
Wow.
his aunt has expectations as well as the city council. And it became a much better chapter. So if you listen to the characters, they can just say, hey, wait a second. No, 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 no. We're going this way. Just, really? Oh my God. You're right. You're right. And one of the most amazing things to me is I tend to write best to endings. So if I know where the chapter is ending or the paragraph is going to end, then oh hey, piece of cake. And if it's all over the place, and then there's the end point, perfect. But
Bring it in.
I had a rough ending for the first trilogy, which is books 1, 2, and 3. Um, and I sort of had the last chapter mapped out. It was very soft. It was very tepid. It was a big sleeper. Um, and then my little writing voice said, "Okay, now that you've got that on your system, write this." And one of those things that happens when writing just grabs you, as I said, grabs you by the throat and throws you to the ground. I wrote for 10 hours solid,
Oh
and it's
wow.
as if I incandesced with creativity. I don't know how to describe it. And it's just you write, and everything is going boom, 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 and you're just, oh my goodness! And you don't even have. Um, there were bathroom breaks, but that was it. And
Oh
I,
wow.
it, and then when I showed this chapter to my partner, he said, "Oh, don't change a word," and I never had to. So when
Oh
my
wow.
editor saw it, he just said, even he was shocked by this incredible denouement. And the curious thing about that last chapter in book 3, it opened the portal to books 4, 5, and 6,
Oh wow.
which is
Ah,
which is what yep, which is what I'm working on now.
ah,
Okay. Yes.
Yep.
Yes. I was going to ask about that.
Yeah.
How? What do you foresee with this now that you know you've got a 4, 5, and 6? How far are you going to take this?
Um, I'm 74 years old, so I've seen a few exit ramps along the way.
Okay.
So I was hoping to do a trilogy of trilogies, and I thought, yeah. So and just the last month or so, I've realized, okay, skip the third trilogy, bring some of this stuff into the second
Okay.
trilogy.
Okay.
Yep. So which gooses it up a bit. I hope, and yeah. So
Oh,
yeah,
that's exciting.
Wow.
yeah.
Exciting.
But the interesting thing also about um, someone asked me, so, oh my God, yeah, there's a second trilogy. And I said, so do you think there might be prequels or prologues? And I said, oh no, the first trilogy is the prequel.
Okay.
So I thought, wow, because what's happening in books 4, 5, and 6 are in certain ways, the stakes have been raised massively, just because of
Hmm.
that last chapter in book 3.
wow.
Wow.
Okay.
Yeah,
I,
Amazing.
now wait, I
Amazing.
wanted to ask a question right there.
yeah.
Are the books available in Audible? And did you do the voice?
No, unfortunately, it's not done in Audible yet. But
Okay.
people have asked me, listen, I like to listen to books now. I don't have time to read.
Yeah.
Hmm.
Okay, so that's probably the next stage.
I asked because I have absolutely love hearing your voice. I'm
Oh
just
well,
like,
thank you, thank you.
keep
I'm,
reading, keep
I'm
talking in any language.
okay,
Go ahead.
okay. Je peux parler français aussi. Je peux parler français avec un accent plus ou moins parisien.
Really?
Um, yeah, yeah,
That too?
absolutely. Yeah,
Okay.
that too. Yeah, yeah.
Love it. Love it. Love
What
it.
one of the languages I found really interesting was Hawaiian Pidgin.
Uh,
Um, Hawaiian Pidgin. When you go to Hawaii, you'll hear them say, "Hey, that nothing he so him a jang." So what? What? And it's very similar to. I'm originally from Montreal, and there are a lot
mhm.
of Haitians there, and they speak a type of Creole, which is a combination of Yoruba, French, English, and a few other things thrown in. And I noticed that in Hawaiian Pidgin, they're doing almost the same thing. So
Wow.
Mm.
they can say, "Oh, that Melvin, he's so ete." Oh my God, that sounds French. Oh yeah, ete is the past participle for to be. So if you say, "Oh, he's so ete," that means he's a has-been. And yet, a
Wow.
continent and away, Haitian Creoles uses the same word. Oh, so Jean-Baptiste, il est ete. So they're using the same word, even though it's a continent and an ocean away.
How
So I
Wow.
find
interesting.
I find those things really interesting. So
It is interesting.
yeah,
Okay, I got to get my one question in because the
yes,
time is going down. I noticed in your books, and I'm gonna just go ahead and say it to everybody: get the books if you get the books. Books if you
yeah.
like fantasy and magic all together. This is for you. I noticed in the book how the records and tallies would change things, and they would change the one word here or there, and sometimes things wouldn't get where it needed to be. And I likened that to book banning
Mm.
today.
Oh
Uh,
yeah.
was that intentional?
Yes. Yep. And you'll find um, is the other thing that happens is that some people are trying to keep books alive by
Yeah.
making them unreadable. Because if
Mm,
you take a look at the pages and just hold it up to the light, oh my God, there's writing behind there. And they discover these are banned works. So
wow.
there's a sneaky someone or other, i.e. the fifth school. Um, um, and that's the symbol of the fifth school. That's the
Yes.
number five. So
Right.
Yes.
um, so yeah, they're trying to keep certain things alive and certain things suppressed, but not
Mhm.
entirely inaccessible. But yeah, because they know that some magic can be turned and twisted, and not only can it, which they call venomous. The word evil, you will not find the word evil there because
Mm,
they're a bit softer and they realize the world is larger and one less one does not allow what we would call evil to occur. But
right.
otherwise, you get set off up the valley to a nunnery or a monastery for contemplative correction. So,
Right.
Mm.
so,
And
so yeah.
another thing I noticed about your books was that how history, if they would remember their history, it would help prevent today's chaos. And I know that had
Mhm,
to be intentional. Could you talk about that for a little
mhm.
bit?
Yeah, yep. But it also illustrates the fact that they are in decline. That they were magicians. There was a council of magicians, and now it's
Right.
a council of deliberators. That's a far cry from being able to make things happen according to your intent, purpose, and all that sort of stuff. Um, they're proud of their history, which also feeds into their complacency. Yes, we've
Yeah.
been around for 1,200 years, and oh, and what do you have to say for yourself? Yeah, tell me tomorrow. So there is there, and that and they also there's social. They're trying to be egalitarian and because their business is based on the pilgrim trade. So
Right.
there's oh yes, you go here and you go there. This is where you got the sacred waters and all that sort of stuff. But hey, the glass vials you need to fill, they're expensive and but they're in this market, um, and that's why SAS is very aware of this, and he's quite miffed at the fact that he there is this level of fleecing the pilgrims, and yet at the same time he's at the pinnacle of the power structure, and it just he finds it very irksome, and yet
Wow.
his integrity is still forcing him. I've been put in this position, and I have to go forward. But so
And this is why we have you come on the show so you can explain it like nobody else.
oh well, thank you.
Just
I
absolutely love listening to you talk. How have the
oh
books been
thank you.
received?
Um, as I said, I got a gold medal for best
Yes.
literary. The reviews have been good.
Good.
Sales are slow because I'm pretty shy about social media.
Okay.
Um, I love doing this sort of stuff. I get to meet real people face to face. I love
Yes.
this.
And
I
we
can do
love
this
Yes.
until the cows come home. But
Hmm.
all the other stuff, I find it very, I find it very difficult.
Well,
So.
and my last question is, please tell our viewers and our listeners how they can get in touch with you, how they can get your book, and
Okay.
if they needed to, what to send you an email or something, or just had a commentary, how could they do
Sure.
that?
Okay. You can check the website, which was done by my publisher, um, petergribble.com. Oh,
Okay.
there it is. Oh my goodness. Wow. You're so good. Hey. um, and you can get it at online, I think, at Amazon and a few other things that the website will show you. Um, and there is a place for comments. And
Hmm.
so yeah, Peter Gribble at Proton Mail. Um, and there's also Peter W. Gribble, W for William,
Okay.
at gmail.com.
All right.
Yeah.
Thank you so much. It's been
Oh,
an
well, my
absolute
pleasure.
joy.
Oh, well, you guys are a delight. So thank
Thank
you.
you. Thank you. We clap.
Thank you so much.
My pleasure.
It has been awesome having you with us and telling us about this amazing trilogy that you have. We are now positioned and looking forward to the next set that
Thank
will
you. Wow.
do us. Yes, absolutely.
It better not take me another 20 years.
No.
It
Oh,
won't.
I
I'll be
think it will.
well, I'll be 94.
But it's a wonderful world that you have created, and
Thank you.
I thank you so much for sharing it with us tonight. And
Thank you for having me.
for our audience, our listeners and viewers, if you did not have an opportunity to get all that you wanted to get from the interview tonight, it will be replayed on Saturday at 7 p.m. Saturday at 7 p.m. So if you want to have someone that said, you know what, I heard about this great book, and you need to tune in and hear the author talk all about it, then that's what they will be able to do at 7 p.m. on this coming Saturday. And Ruth always has a wonderful way of closing us out, no matter how short, no matter how long. Go,
Look, I can make it really short. Just go to our website, authorsupshow.com.
That's
there
it.
you go.
Right.
No. But do follow us on Facebook, YouTube, Instagram, all that. Authors Up Show. I made it easy across the board. Just look for that. Find us, follow us, like all of that.
Yes.
Thank you.
Please do.
Thank you.
Thank you.
And we do
Happy reading.
thank you, Peter, for being here.
Yes, thank
Thank you, Andrea.
Us,
Victoria, Ruth.
this evening. It has been a pleasure all the way around. And be sure to come back. Put us on your calendar so that you can be sure that you won't miss one thing. Come back and join us on Sunday evenings. We'll be right here at 7 p.m. And you never, and when I say never, I mean never know what's going to happen. Join Authors Up. So thank you. Thank you, everybody, for listening, for tuning in. And Peter, best of luck going forward with
Thank you.
everything that you
night.
do in the literary world.
Good night, Bronze
Thank you.
Girls.
Okay.
Mwah.
Bye.
Happy reading.